and welcome to day 8 of CF Awareness Month. This month is rapidly going by and we are already up to day 8. So today I want to talk about CF and weight gain. Because our pancreas is blocked from the mucus so that it doesn't release the enzymes correctly, we typically have a lot of malabsorption and weight gain issues, and today I want to talk a little bit about that and what we do to combat it. So, as I said in my very first video this month and just a couple minutes ago, our pancreas is blocked by the same mucus that gets in our lungs, and it stops the release of digestive enzymes. And this is known as pancreatic insufficiency. And in some CFers, depending on the strain that they have, this can be worse or better than what's going on in their lungs. For me, in double delta 508, my lungs and my pancreatic insufficiency or trouble gaining weight are about even, and so I'm just going to tell you kind of how we kind of remedy this and fight against it so that we're not losing weight. Now obviously we have our enzymes that we take, and those kind of are they're a artificial way to get enzymes into our body so that we can digest it. But even taking those enzymes, we don't digest as well as other people do, because obviously our body's natural resource is better than artificial that we have to go through. So we still don't digest as well as normal people do. So CFers are on a very high calorie diet. Typically 3,000 to 4,000 calories is needed just to, 3,000 is about just to maintain weight, and above that is to gain weight. So if you think about that, that's a lot of food. 3,000 calories worth of food is practically impossible to eat in a day. We do our best. We are on high calorie diets. It's very encouraged for CFers to eat things that most people would try to avoid, like, really high calorie foods, high cake, fatty foods, ice cream, chocolate bars, all the high calorie stuff that you can think of. We are encouraged to eat that and as much as we can to help gain weight. Now, kind of ironic for me and some of the experiences I've had from talking to other CFers, I crave healthy food. And I don't know if it's reverse psychology or just because I've been told, because I do eat a bunch of the high calorie stuff, I crave healthy food. I crave salads. I crave, like, fruit and vegetables. I crave things that are good for me and are good to eat, but are not necessarily what I need to be eating a lot of. So some ways to work around that is there is high calorie healthy foods. There's nuts and seeds. There's avocados, which an avocado is 20 grams of fat. So there is healthy foods that we can eat that are also high in fat and calories to help keep our weight and keep everything maintained. For some CFers, we need a little bit of extra support, and that is done in the way of a feeding tube. Now, there's all different kinds of feeding tubes. There is the nasogastric tube that goes in your nose. There's a gastronomy tube or a G tube, and I have one of those, which I'm going to show you. So I have a G tube or a gastronomy tube, which goes directly into my stomach. There's also a J tube, which goes into the jejunum, and then there's a GJ tube that does both. So there's all different kinds of options. It just depends on what works best for you. I've had my G tube since I was 3 months old, and it's used for supplemental feeding. And basically, I can't show you the formula right now because it's on its way from being shipped. I don't have any at the moment. But it's used for supplemental feeding and supplemental calories, and I get 13,000 calories at night just from that. So I do a little jar of something called microlipid, which is literally, the best way to describe it, it's literally just a jar of fat. That's literally what it is, just a jar of fat. And then I do something called Nutrient 2.0, which is a specified formula for weight gain. It's a medical formula that's meant for weight gain. And I think each can has somewhere around 250, 300 calories, if more than that. And so that's an extra 13,000 calories plus the 3,000, and it kind of helps out. So the supplemental feedings are a huge help. Not every CFer does them, but for those that need that extra bit of support, they are a huge help. And then we just eat as much as we can. Now, unfortunately, sometimes with CF, we have a decreased appetite because of the medicines we're on, antibiotics, the fact that we just can't breathe well, so we don't want to eat. Like, think about if you have a stuffy nose and you can't breathe very well. Are you very hungry? So, thankfully right now my appetite's fine, but we can deal with decreased appetite, which just compounds the whole problem. So weight gain is vital because weight directly equals lungs. So the more weight we have, the better we can fight off infections in our lungs, and the less weight we have, the less stores we have, the easier we get sick. So we just use everything that we can in our arsenal to help put on weight gain. Besides the supplemental feedings and the high-calorie foods, we can also do things like Boost, Ensure, breakfast essentials, anything to get in that extra little bit of oomph and give our bodies the necessary calories to fight. So all that to say, you do the best you can with the tools that you have, and unfortunately sometimes it still just isn't enough, and sometimes you have to clear out the infections in your lungs so that your body's not fighting as hard so that you can gain weight. Currently, I am 18 years old, and I am 4'9", and CF can also stunt growth. So I am 4'9", and I am 76 pounds. And the most I've ever weighed in my life is 83. And that is just with CF. I mean, that is CF. It's a constant battle. And, you know, you want to exercise, and you want to, which I'm going to cover in another video, but you want to exercise to help improve your lungs, but exercise also decreases weight. So it's this big catch-22. And you always have to weigh the pros and cons and just figure out what you can do to get calories in, more calories in than calories out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If there was something you didn't know, or maybe you already knew all this stuff and I'm just repeating to the choir. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And one other thing I forgot to mention was CFers, because our lungs aren't working like they're supposed to, just breathing, we use more calories than a normal person would breathing. So it's definitely a battle, but it's a thing with up and downs, because you can have great times where you get, you know, your weight's going up, and then you can have times where it's going down. And right now my weight's about steady, so you can also have those times where it's like, okay, it's not going up, but it's not going down, so it's okay. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm having so much fun spreading CF awareness, and hopefully I'm reaching people that may not have known these things, because I love to talk about CF. Sometimes when people are, you know, when I tell them they have CF, they think, oh, don't, you know, I don't want to be rude. But no, I love to answer questions about it. I love to tell people about it, because the more I do, the more they can understand it, and the more that we can raise awareness. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.